Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys, Fatty, and Big Bry.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Illegal Ham to the Face on this beautiful Tuesday here in Cleveland. What is going on, big fella?
Oh, nothing much. Living the dream, my friend. How about you?
Living the dream, brother. It was so nice seeing you this weekend. Get to watch at least a first half of a sort of tied football game before I had to leave and go to Pool League for our nice little sponsor, Harold Q and Lake Area APA. Bri, I do have to ask, did you cash out the bet?
No, I didn't. I went all in. It got as high as the cash out was like 27. I think
should have cashed out, but that's okay. I do have to shout out Wink and Lizard there in Brunswick, man. That's a nice place, dude. Thanks for sending that out. Went out there.
Great.
We had a couple drinks, had some chicken wings. I know you had some chicken wings and some burger, I think. We got to hear a Steelers fan's first date in the corner, which was awesome. I loved every minute of that. I tried to get to change chairs with you, but you wouldn't let me do it. And just hearing that
once you left,
I was going,
I couldn't get away from it. Thankfully, but as soon as you were gone, that barrier was gone. So yeah, I'm looking up at the TVs, and he's 3 seats away from me, and I wanted to puke. I wanted to tell the girl to get lost. Don't make this terrible decision.
Smacking you right in the face, huh?
Oh man, you're thinking your dad. Your dad's gonna be so disappointed in you. Is what I wanted to tell her.
Well, we tried Morse code and that didn't work, and then we tried to get her to blink to make sure that she was safe, and that didn't work. And like normally tonight, like because Pittsburgh's playing us on Thursday, we would talk about Pittsburgh food. That ain't happening tonight. We don't want to talk about Pittsburgh food. Okay, I do have to get this off my chest before we really get into the show. How the hell is it that the Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team this year to win 2 GD games and not score a touchdown? How? That's twice this year, Bri.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, they're lucky as hell. I mean, let's get that out of the way right now.
There it is.
By far the luckiest. But B, they got a really good defense. I would say probably the best defense in the league. What they're putting up now, they haven't played like the toughest teams in the NFL, so I'm not going to give them their flowers just yet, but their defense is winning them games, and it's something that we wanted the Browns defense to do, and we have not, and they have. So,
well,
however you want to put it, culture, whatever you want to say.
God, it sucks. They've only had 4 head coaches? 4? Their entire tenure in the NFL, their entire tenure? I think it was 4.
Or 3. Well, no, it's Knoll, it's Cowher, and it's Tomlin. At least for the last, I don't know, all time, but that's like the last 50 years or 40 years or whatever.
And they bitch about going over 500 every year. And really suck it up, Buttercup. Why don't you come to our side? Fucking Darth Vader.
It's going to be the same thing this year. It's going to be, they're going to look good during the regular season. They're not going anywhere.
Doesn't matter. They're still doing something.
I know. They're having a lot more fun than we are at this point. I guarantee you that.
Guarantee you that. All right. Well, let's start out with some shout outs, Brian. I got some to get off first. I saw Beth this weekend at Beth from City Dogs. Saw her at My Giant Eagle in my neck of the woods, and I think I scared her when she walked by me in the wine section. And I said, "Hey, this ain't your neck of the woods. What are you doing over here?" And then she started giggling, and we talked a little bit. Congratulations to her and her husband. They got a new house out in Brunswick. So their
Nice.
dogs can go out and play out in the backyard. They got some land. So shout out to them. Shout out to you, brother. Love seeing you. It's been a while since you and I have hung out in person and just shot to shit and just laughed. And man, did we laugh and watch pretty much any football game that you wanted to watch at 1 o'clock. They had it there at the Lincoln Lizard in Brunswick. Also got a shout out pool guys, Toby, Rocco, all those guys. When I got there, they were primed up and ready for me when I got there, and we finished watching the game while we were playing, and a few other words were going out. And I think that's it on my end. Oh, nope. Danielle. Friend Danielle took out my wife, and they went Bob Ross painting. They did the wine and painting, and they painted pretty little trees. So those shout outs for this week. Brian, what about you?
Well, I got some family shout outs to clean up quickly. My niece, Briella, she is in cheer. I want to say she's in 6th grade. So had a big cheer competition this weekend, and they took first place. So they won state for their age group. So shout out to Gabriella Rose. Also my cousin, who I think I've shouted out here before, gymnast. She signed her national letter of intent to go to West Virginia.
No kidding.
Yeah, she'll be a mountaineer. So shout out to Lauren. I figured you would enjoy that one. Yeah, so she'll be, I don't know, what do you say? Doing gymnastics? Like golfing. Like I play golf, I go golfing. Like what do you do with gymnastics? Do you play gymnastics? Do you gymnast? I don't know. Whatever you do.
I think you just do gymnastics.
Do gymnastics. Okay.
So that's the only way I can think of it. But you know what that means, though, Bri? That means we got to go to Morgantown, West by God, Virginia, and have some fun.
Yeah, my uncle was telling me that she's been in contact with, I guess, the quarterback from Mentor is going down there as well. So we'll have some Northeast Ohio ties going down to Morgantown. So yeah, I'll have a reason to go down there. I'd be all for it. Sounds like a great time.
Hey,
other than who was Jay. Jay was bashing him last week, right?
Hey, I know he was. And there's another shout. That was the one shout. Jay for joining us, talking about Aruba and everything last week, and getting into food time. I love Jay. Jay cracks me up. I told my wife about him bashing West Virginia. She goes, "I will go back and watch the tape." I said, "I bet you will, Hugh Jackson. Go back and watch that tape."
Then I got one final shout out to my uncle Chuck, who had successful heart surgery yesterday. So he's feeling better. Gonna be back to 100% here soon. So wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, we forgot about Big Man too. Big Man had back surgery.
Yep, for sure.
Shout out Big Man too. Everything's good on his side. Sending prayers your way. And Bri, it is that time. Should we do the illegal hand to the face fantasy football update to get it out of the road?
Sure. Let's do it.
Right now, your illegal hand to the face is crazy because I have got two the ESPN ones and league, and here we go. All right, so your legal him to face fantasy football update right out of the gate. You had Hunky Cat beating Runner 136-70. Tyson's fight was rigged 153 over the Portage County Prostitutes 121.
That's a big one.
Team Big Rod 138 over Dog Pound 98. Oh, Big Bri 156-130 beat Always Next Year. And Phil McCracken beat Team Big Meat 130-102. And my Knicks in a Box took down our sponsor, Harold Keel, 123-111. So far, right now, at the top of the leaderboard, you have Tyson's Fight Was Rigged, My Knicks in a Box, and Portage County Prostitutes, all at 8-3. You have Team Big Rod, Hunky Cat at 7-4. And then you have Big Bri and Dog Pound Craig Foster. Sucking up the hind rear is Runner and Phil McCracken. We might have a new champion this year, Brian.
Sounds like we will.
So,
yeah,
stay tuned for that. We do have our trivia tonight, which is my turn for trivia. So I will play our sounder, and off we go. And our trivia is always brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. And James is here. Justin, damn right I'm here. The belt's staying in Kentucky. It's staying in Kentucky because Big Man's already in Kentucky. And Chris said his team took a dump this week. All right, so our trivia is brought to you by City Dogs Cleveland. We still have Ashlyn. I'm just going to say Ashlyn. That sounds better than what I've been saying for like the past couple weeks. Ashlyn is still the longest resident at the kennel right there. Beautiful dog, a 2-year-old puppy. Been there 4 months, Bri. 4 months. We got to get this dog out of there. He deserves a good home. He is 2 years old, approximately 40-ish pounds. Is a very playful young pup. So if you can, please go adopt Ashlyn from City Dogs Cleveland. And if you cannot adopt, please volunteer, donate. I believe so the Yingers are coming to Cleveland, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the Yingers coming to Cleveland, go check out 121 in the Dog Pound. That's where my City Dogs are at. Get some food, some beer from them. All proceeds help out City Dogs Cleveland. So please go check them out there and buy a beer. Say it's from Fatty and the Big Bri. All right, Bri.
Sure.
I got baseball trivia for you, brother.
Alrighty.
We did have some news, which I'm going to do real quick. CC Sabathia has been nominated for the MLB Hall of Fame. He has spent 20 seasons, well, actually 19, in the MLB. 9 of those glorious seasons were here in Cleveland. And then the rest were with the Stankies and a little stint with the Brewers. So, Bri, my question to you is, he has one Cy Young, and it was here with the Cleveland Indians / Guardians. Can you tell me what year it was?
Okay.
And since the past 20 years, Bri, we have had how many Cy Young winners here in Cleveland?
The past how many years?
20 years.
20 years. And are there any multiple winners? Like, are you looking for X amount of names, or so-and-so won it this year?
There is one multiple winner.
Okay, gotcha.
So
all right. So one guy won it twice?
Yes.
One guy won it twice, and then, okay, so the last 20 years. Gotcha.
All right.
Okay. I think I got that.
And by the way, Chris, I feel so bad for you not getting Cupid while my mom was in town, because, you know, it's great that you guys get Cupid, but I don't get Cupid. It's all right. I'll just hold that over my head here. I'm glad they're closed on Sunday. Turd. All right. Yeah, I had to say it, Bri. I'm a little salty about that, but it's okay. I'll get over it.
I get it.
Let's play some Cleveland headlines. Should cheer him up, though. Hearing that music beat right there. All right, so we already started out your Cleveland headlines with CC Sabathia being nominated as a MLB Hall of Famer. Bri, also, your Cleveland Cavaliers are still on a hot streak, and Chris says it hurts. Yeah, I bet it does hurt. Yeah, and there's Eric coming in with the Cupid takes. I get Cupid a lot. It's about 20 minutes away. I'm just jealous. I just want my Cupid.
Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, my mom lives in Columbus. They get Cupid anytime she goes back. But me, nope, heaven forbid I get Cupid. You know, just I guess I got to move to Columbus.
So there's only one location?
No, there's 3 locations, but it's all in one place.
Location. What city?
In Lima.
Lima, that's right. Okay.
No.
Have to make a trip.
I'm going to have to make a trip because it's so good. They started closing on Sundays, though. They never used to do that before, and now they're closing on Sundays, which is fine.
That's okay. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for workers.
All right, so CC, also the Cavs are off to a hot start. They are 15-0, getting ready to go 16-0 tonight after they beat the Boston Celtics tonight in Boston. Brian, what means more tonight? I know it's November. It's a big game in November. What means more, to keep the streak going or to beat Boston tonight?
To beat Boston, to me. The streak is just kind of something that's fun to talk about, but whether we're 15-0 or 14-1, I would say beating Boston and giving us confidence. B, just you never know how the tiebreakers are going to fall at the end of the year. So to get a head-to-head win against them, I think we play them maybe 4 times this year. I don't know the exact number, but yeah, anytime you can do that, and like I've said multiple times, like everyone always knows, you just don't know what kind of effort teams are going to give you. So I would think we would get their best shot tonight. So I'd feel pretty good if we come away with a W tonight. But they're missing Porzingis. We're missing at least one guy. So you never really know how they're playing. But I would think this is as close to a big game in November as you could possibly have. So Boston kind of showed us last year that they're the tops. They weren't really challenged at all in the playoffs last year. So they need somebody to step up. And so far this year, it looks like it's Cavs.
Well, and also last year when we played Boston, we were just dismantled with injuries. I mean,
we were right.
And they've tipped off already, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, still in the first quarter?
Still in the first quarter.
How's it looking?
It's getting better. We were down 12. We were down. We were down 20-8.
Okay.
But we've pulled it within 20-14. So I'm guessing.
Okay. Right.
I'm guessing Boston has called a timeout because it's on commercial now. But yeah, 20-14 is where we're at currently.
So Eric, the game is on now. It is on national. It is on TNT. So go check it out.
TNT, True TV. Yep, both of them.
So go check them out. Bri, for me, for this game, I know we got, Okoro's out tonight, and I know Levert's dinged up. I know, is Dean Wade out too?
Dean Wade is out for sure. I was trying to see if Levert was playing. Neither one of them are in now. Number 9. Who's number 9? Is that our rookie? Guard.
Is our Bates? Oh,
no, I think it's Porter. No, it's Porter Jr., I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens. I'm just excited because it's a big marquee game, Bri. And finally, the Cavs have got some stank on them that the national media are going to talk about them, especially with this. I mean, Boston's 1-3. We're 15-0. It's the two big ones in the East right now going head-to-head because guess what? Philadelphia 76ers, they might as well just phone it in right now. But they're 2-11. They are horrible.
They seem to think it's just their God-given right to make it to the playoffs, and they'll just start trying in April.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. But I'm excited for this game tonight. That's why we're trying to do an accelerated show tonight so that we can watch the game, even though you get to watch it while I'm upstairs in Fat Boy Studios and I don't have it.
Pull it up on your phone.
I can't pull it up on my phone because I got other stuff on my phone that we use tonight, like everything else, trivia and stuff like that. And if I start watching it, like we did at the bar, Squirrel, I won't even do it.
You can pull it up on your phone. I'll give you play-by-play if you want. Donovan Mitchell just missed the dunk, but he got fouled.
Chris said these court colors are annoying. Now, Boston's got the whole green court, right?
All green. Yeah, it's a little distracting.
I did like the Cavs court, though, with the baby blue and you haven't seen it yet.
No, I didn't see that. Dude,
they did the baby blue unis.
Match the unis. And
the trim of the court is all baby blue, and then in the middle, it's like the court is like fractured in half. It almost looks like the river's running right through the middle of a court. Dude, it's sweet. I love it. I love the Cleveland's court. These other
so will they be wearing those uniforms for every time they play at home then? During this
thing, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Which would be perfect.
Okay.
All right. Enough.
Now, my
Cavs.
question for I got one question for you for the Cavs, and we talked a lot about this with the Browns going into the season. Expectations. Have your expectations changed now that they're 15-0?
Bri, my expectations have always been the same. I need them to get to the Eastern Conference Championship.
Really? Okay. I'd say mine have changed, but I'm where you're at. Like, I didn't expect them before the season to get there, but now after seeing this, now that's my expectation. I mean, right now it's a two team race, and I pause to even say that because I know 4 months it's going to be springtime. We're not even into winter yet, and it's going to be springtime by the time we really play any meaningful games. So there's a lot that can go on. Teams can figure us out. Right now we're the best offense in the history of basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're shooting wise,
we're
do we really think that's going to continue?
50, was it 58% shooting? We're averaging
it's absurd.
Like almost 120 points a game. Like it's
right.
been Brian, I know we played some cupcakes. I know we played some tough teams. I know like we had Chicago here, which gave us a little bit of a tough scare for our last one. But man, this team just doesn't want to quit. And you sit there and you talk about the record, like playing now and then playing later and what the regular season means. Brian, you're 15-0 right now. You got to jump on everybody so that when you do want to take some time off in December, January, and kind of take the pedal back a little bit and get some guys healthy and get them coming back, you're able to and not have to do this whole stretch all the way down, all the way through the season. Like you're going to be able to take a break during December, January, part of February before you start ramping back up for the playoffs.
I feel like regardless of how the season goes from here, we're going to be talking about this 15-game stretch, or if it goes out to 20 games or 22, however long this winning streak goes.
Make it 30.
Well, 30.
Right?
30, whatever. I feel like we're going to, at the end of the year, and depending on how our playoff run goes, we're going to be looking back to this to either say, man, at the start of the season, we really came together as a team and it lasted the entire season and they really learned how to play together and that just set the tone for the whole year. Or if things don't go our way, we're going to say they fell in love with the streak. They were worried about too worried about games in November that don't mean anything, and they burned themselves out by the end of the year. So those are the two narratives. Let's hope it goes in a positive direction. But yeah, I think we'll still be talking about this. And like I said last show, this, I mean, as exciting as it is and as pumped up as we want to get about this, they did this last year without. It was more impressive last year because they did it without Mobley and they did it without Garland. Yeah. So, I mean, 17
but that was also,
it's the same thing to me.
Brian, wasn't that also in like January?
Yeah. Yep.
When they did that. So like, there's going to be guys, they're not going to go perfect all the way through. I get that. It's nice that we have the streak now and they're playing as a team and it's everybody contributing. It's not just like they gave Donovan Mitchell the night off and Garland came out and like Garland's playing like an all-star that was 2 years ago, not the one we had last year. Like we were talking about shipping him out and everything else. He's playing fantastic this year. Jared Allen is a whole different person this year. Evan Mobley has been a whole different person this year. So the core four have been just amazing. I don't know what else to say about it, Brian. I mean, between defense, offense, everything else, they have just been a whole different people right now.
Well, it's a big four, but it's also, and I think this is what's going to separate us from being a good team to being a great team. It's the secondary pieces. It's the guys outside the core four. Karis LeVert is playing almost as good as he can play, or as good as he has his whole career. Ty Jerome has been a huge shot in the arm. Dean Wade, yep, if he can stay healthy. Like I feel like there were times in the past where, we just Sam Merrill, These guys we think we can count on in the regular season. The postseason is a completely different story.
Oh yeah,
Like
of course it is.
we were bitching and moaning last year whenever Niang got on the court in the playoffs. Like, are you kidding me? How stupid are you to put this Niang guy on the floor? And now he's given us solid minutes and he's contributing. Like, can he do that in April and May? I don't know. I can't assume it until I see it, because I've seen him play well in the regular season. But when, like Jared Allen said, when the lights are the brightest, what are you going to do? So yeah, I mean, it's fun though to follow now, and it's to be honest, it's a fun distraction from the Browns and how terrible they are. So yeah, so tonight is just a huge game, and it hopefully is a good one.
Yeah, like my whole thing with like Niang last year, though, Niang had to be forced into more playing time than what he was used to. With all the injuries, everything else. I mean, you had Okoro hurt for a little bit. LeVert was hurt for a little bit. You had Mitchell out. You had so Niang, yeah, we were sitting there arguing, like, what is this guy doing? But also, he's only doing like 8, maybe 9 minutes a game. During the playoffs, he was doing like 15, 16 because he had to, because they needed people out there to play. So I'm hoping that as long as they stay in their roles and nobody gets hurt, it's going to be a good vibe between everybody. I think it's a good mesh because those guys bring you up a different pace. And like, I know I gave Niang a lot of crap because he just kept chucking up threes like they were popping Skittles as a fat kid.
Couldn't hit anything.
And he couldn't hit any. But like the past few games watching Niang, it's the little things he's doing. It's the getting one rebound and, coming underneath. It's the, hey, Bri, dare I say, is the big man power step, the Euro step over, little jump hook there in the like he's just doing little things. So it's just I just think that the way this team is playing right now, Bri, this is a totally different team than it was last year, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, it's all about confidence at this point.
Yeah.
Right now, our confidence cannot be any higher. So if that's what it takes, if that's the one thing that we can take away from this streak is guys are shooting it confidently, and that's going to come and go. It's probably not going to last the entire year, but at least they can look back and say, man, what were we doing so well those first 15 games? And it sounds like, I think even Draymond Green shouted them out on this podcast, saying how unbelievable their ball movement was. And if you can have that, you're going to eventually find the open guy. And then it's just up to that guy to knock down the open shot. So, it's a fun team to watch. And, if our secondary guys can contribute the way they have been, all hands on deck. I think they've had like a couple games in the last week or 2 weeks where they have 4 guys scoring above 20 points, which is just crazy.
All those games have come down to the wire. They weren't blowouts. They've had last-second blocks. They've had last-second shots. They've had a guy take over in the fourth quarter to pull them ahead. So it hasn't been a tough road for them, but we'll see what happens going forward. And Chris is trying to get me in trouble with my mother. You know something, Chris? Yes, she's your mother-in-law. Yeah, not your mother. All right? So let's just keep that in mind. Don't get me in trouble.
Let's air the dirty laundry. Come on, Chris. Put it out there.
Well, no, he's trying to say that because Mom couldn't bring home Cupid because she went there on Sunday, that I'm trying to badmouth her. I said, no, Chris, you're lucky because my mom talked me out of calling you while you were at work on Sunday and breaking the news to you that you were not getting Cupid the way that I would break news to you, not her. You would have loved every minute of that phone call. And I'll end it there. My mom's like, she goes, don't call him. You're going to upset him. He's at work. I'm like, there's nobody at the store. He's not getting anybody in the store. I'm not going to bother him at all. She goes, I know what you're going to say to him. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to say to him. Like my mom ate it all and it never made it back to Columbus.
Making me hungry.
I know. I'm sorry. By the way, so how you did get the sesame wings, right?
I got the Goldfinger wings, I got the Bowman's Buffalo chicken sandwich, and I brought home some wings for my wife, and I got on her good side because I'm like, oh, I got you some wings, and I brought home some French fries for her too, and
Oh,
You know,
look at you.
obviously, when you do stuff like that in the back of your mind, you're hoping she's like, no, you have them for lunch tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, if you want them, I got them for you. And so
Didn't happen, did it?
no,
No,
she
that's
saw
all
through
right.
my plan.
And Chris said working Sundays are pointless. Well, Chris, I completely understand that. Been doing
Saves
it
you from watching the Browns.
That is true. That is true. Well, let's get into the Browns, Bri.
He's the
We did
lucky
watch
one.
the first half. We'll transition over real quick to the Browns. as I did the show title tonight, what to do with the Browns, Bri. Right now, the Cleveland Browns were tied at halftime. There in New Orleans, and then Taysom Hill magically just ended up being the. I mean, Brian, let's just. He was a Super Bowl MVP of that game. 75-yard touchdown run, a fourth down touch-yard run. He even threw an interception and still came out 21 points ahead, Bri. This team is. I put it out on Network 216 social media, Bri, and ours. Bri, I can't see this team winning another game the way they've been playing. It's just, Bri, it's frustrating. They're not running the ball at all anymore. No more. Hey, Jameis Winston threw for almost 400 yards, but can't run the ball. And Ken Carman said it best. How does a guy that went to college with Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, and Frank Gore hate running backs so much? Like, Brian, they just didn't even run the ball. Like, you're tied 14-14. You could at least run the ball a little bit. They didn't even.
They can't.
Try.
They can't run the ball all year. They can't. How are you going to run the ball from a shotgun? They haven't learned their lesson. They're just smarter than you and I are.
Oh my God, it's so horrible, so horrible. And you and I watched the first half. We got excited for a little bit, and then our boy D Hop had a case of the yips. Pulled it left from a 50-yarder, pulled it left from a 33-yarder, got a retry from a 30-yarder, pulled it left again.
27, 28.
27, yeah. And you were talking that an 8th grader can make that kick, which I love every minute of that.
Right,
and
that's not even me talking
that,
trash.
By the way, Bri. The whole bar
that's not even
that.
I'm not trying to be smart. I'm not trying to be cute. I'm dead serious. I would say at least 50%, probably like 70% of 8th graders, like 8th grade kickers. That's basically an extra point. I mean, extra point is like
a dome.
20 yards, 22 yards or something like that.
It's in a dome.
Clearing it. And they're in a dome too, right? You have no excuse.
The whole right side of the field start blowing at the same time?
Just when things go bad, they go bad in every aspect of the game, as we saw on Sunday with the missed field goals, the debacle, giving up another punt return for a touchdown. It's just, it's terrible. Yeah, you can't do anything. Your defense, I mean, basically giving up. I didn't even stay. I left before the Taysom Hill run.
Didn't even a little bit give up. Juan Thornhill just stood there and watched him run around him. Like Juan Thornhill, we're paying this guy how much money, and he has I'm hearing Delpit's name. Delpit had a good. Denzel Ward had an interception, a fumble strip, recovery. Denzel Ward had a game, and I haven't heard this guy's name the entire time he's been here in Cleveland.
He's been hurt. He was hurt last year. He was hurt this year, and you would think that would mean him coming back. He'd really be chomping at the bit to play, especially because I think this is his last year.
Here.
Yeah,
God, I hope so.
I was excited for him.
Find out.
And he was talking trash to Browns fans. Not talking trash, but I guess trying to motivate them. Like, hey, you got to last year. You got to act like you've been there. You got to have a winning mentality. I'm fed up with this losing crap. And then he does it maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was trying to help out Jed Wills. Maybe he was saying, Jed, if you want to know what a business decision is, I'll show you what a business decision is. And that's exactly what it was. It was, hey, whatever. Game's over. I don't need to be trying my hardest. What if I pull a hamstring? What if I dive and hurt my shoulder? I'm just going to make a business decision. The game's over anyways. Why do I need to be playing hard? And so he did what he did, and with any hope, he's out of here next year. I'm kind of done with him. I was excited for him when he came, and I thought he'd be a good addition to this defense, but he's been very forgettable. So unfortunately, that means that's another hole that we're going to have to fill for next year, and they just keep adding up. I don't know what we're going to, we'll have plenty of time to talk about it.
He's a free agent in 2026, but right now, his dead cap hit is $16 million.
What a nightmare! That seems to be something that's going to haunt Browns fans' dreams. Is the word dead cap hit? Just been beaten over the head with it every single minute of every day, and it makes you want to puke. How much dead cap money we're going to have next year, especially if we get rid of Watson.
Well, and then the other thing is here's the rumblings, and I will be completely honest with you. Some heads are going to roll this year. I don't know whose heads are going to roll.
They have to.
I don't know if it's going to be Stefanski. I don't know if it's going to be our new offensive line coach. I don't know if it's going to be Bubba Ventrone. I don't even know if it's going to be Andrew Berry. But somebody is taking the fall for this season, and they've been talking about if the Steelers come into our house and just whoop, like, Brian, who's leaving this stadium Thursday night unscathed? Like, if the Steelers come in and kick our ass, is Stefanski gone?
I would say I would be shocked if the Browns get rid of Stefanski or Berry before the end of the season. I would be shocked.
Now, other people, you agree with offensive line coach?
Getting fired at the bye week?
Or just getting fired, period?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the year, I wouldn't be shocked if they get rid of him. I mean, I feel like positional coaches, they change teams so frequently, we usually don't even hear about it. The Browns fired their linebacker coach. Okay, who the heck is that? We just hear about this offensive line coach more because he's following a legend in Bill Callahan. But yeah, there's going to be changes. Like you said, you can't go. Yeah, at this point, Ken Dorsey is back to the top of the list. I mean, he fell down. He got into our good graces with one good game against Baltimore, which we're kind of realizing how bad this is. Not Baltimore's defense that your father and your brother and all of us were raised seeing. This is a pretty bad Baltimore defense, and it's a pretty bad Saints defense as well. So we'll see the next couple of weeks. I think we got Pittsburgh twice, and I think we have Denver. So, I mean, those are two top 5 defenses coming up these next few weeks, and we saw how putrid we looked against the Chargers defense. So
yeah,
I'm expecting more of the same with that, especially if you can't run the ball. Teams are just going to say, okay, all right, we just need to have 4 or 5 guys on the line, and then we'll drop everybody else and force Jameis Winston to throw us the ball. And I mean, kudos to Jameis. He did play a good game. Didn't turn the ball over.
It's just frustrating because you have the Watson homers and the Baker Bros and whatever it is.
I don't think there's any Watson homers left.
Well, there are. And trust me, I've seen them complain. And it's like, how can you complain now? Jameis Winston has come in here. You took away Amari Cooper from him, one of your top wide receivers, and he's still thrown for almost 400 yards. There's something wrong. Obviously, there is something wrong. And I don't know if it's Watson, if it's the offense for Watson. I don't give a shit anymore what it is about Watson. Because right now, we honestly can say, Bri, for once again, we don't have a quarterback here in Cleveland. And we got to start this whole process over again.
Something we're used to in Cleveland ever since the 80s. Man. It sucks. It sucks, I know, but it'll breed hope. We'll get excited about a new quarterback, whoever they bring in. I wish, people that are rooting for the Browns to win so we can get the first overall pick. Like, who the heck do you want?
You mean
There's
the
nobody
Browns
in
to
this
lose?
draft that I'm excited about.
You meant
There's
the Browns
nobody.
to lose.
Browns to
Not to
lose.
win.
What did I say? To win? Yeah,
Yeah.
To lose. There's going to be people rooting for them to lose, for sure.
Right.
Just like there are people that were happy they probably lost on Sunday.
I was. I mean, I picked them to lose on Sunday, and I almost dead picked the score, Bri. I think I said 31-14, didn't I?
You said 24-9.
Well, I was almost there.
Closer than Jay and I were. We both picked them to win. Which is crazy to think. It was tied at 14 at the end of 3 quarters.
I know.
Like that's absurd. Like you lose by 3 touchdowns, and it's tied at the end of 3 quarters. Like that's hard to do.
They quit. That whole team quit.
Again, this goes back, like, now we can start figuring stuff out. Now we can start uncovering some layers on what's wrong with this team, because before it was just, it's Deshaun Watson's fault. It's Deshaun Watson's fault. He's terrible. This team would be so much better if they didn't have Deshaun Watson. And now we're seeing, not really. Yeah, the numbers look better, but you still can't run the ball. Your defense is still a shell of itself. Your special teams is absolutely atrocious, one of the worst in the league.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, we have a couple nice passes, and Jerry Jeudy gets loose on a 90-yarder, and that really pumps up the.
Tell me you weren't excited about that.
Oh, of course, I was excited about that. I was excited about that. I got 2 out of 3 on the parlay on one play. But now we need to figure out, all right, what's really worth saving from this team, because clearly we vastly overrated this team, and rightfully so, based on what they did last year. But these guys, I mean, I understand it's hard for us as fans to get up every week, but this is your job. This is something you only have the average NFL player only plays like 3 or 4 seasons, and you're just going to throw one down the drain now? Like, it's hard to watch. And I know it's not everybody, it's only a few people, but like, just how bad are the Browns? And it's just like, where did this come from? And like I said, you can't just blame it on Deshaun Watson now.
No,
he's out of the picture, and we're still terrible.
And the thing is, though, is what you start looking at other teams, and what gets really frustrating is the other teams that were supposed to be horrible are not horrible. Pittsburgh was supposed to be horrible. They're leader in the AFC North. Commanders were supposed to be horrible. They're not anymore. Even the damn Bears are competitive, Bri. Dare I say, Arizona? We thought they were going to be horrible. Look at them. We got the Minnesota with Sam Darnold. Like, this is what I'm getting upset about, is because all these other teams are able to do this, but we're not able to do this at all. It's like us, the Jets, and the Giants right now are just cursed. And that's what it feels like.
I'm telling you so much about sports. I understand. A lot is about talent. If you have more talent than everybody else, you're going to win a lot of games. Look at the Yankees. Look at Ohio State. They just have more talent than the teams are playing. So they're going to win a lot of games just based on talent. But in the NFL, I mean...
Chris brought up the Broncos. There's another team that you thought was going to be in the doldrum.
So much is about effort, and as we're finding out, a lot of it is about coaching, and can you motivate your players? And I mean, I don't know how this doesn't look absolutely terrible on Stefanski, because at times it looks like he's losing the team, and this season will play itself out, and we'll see exactly how terrible and how bad it gets. But I was thinking the other day, and we're going to hear it weeks and weeks for the next month, maybe longer, about Mike Vrabel. And
it's already started.
I was thinking the other day about how much you really, it seems like for whatever reason, you need a coach whose personality matches your city's like personality. Like, and it seems like you have success with that. Like when I look at Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, I see like tech guys. I see like guys who are going to lead a conference and tell me how smart they are, and I can say, "Oh man, you are very smart." Like they're not really football. And then I look at Dan Campbell, who everyone thinks is just a meathead, and he has the best team in the NFL right now. Like this hard-nosed city who's been beaten down and everybody's been making fun of him for however many years. And he says, you know what? We're going to be the bully now. It's enough of people kicking us around. We're going to start fighting back. And so, like, I think of Dan Campbell. I think of, Tomlin. I think of John Harbaugh. I think of these guys that are just tough-nosed dudes in these, like, Midwest cities, these tough Bill Belichick, for crying out loud, in Boston.
Andy Reid.
And then I think of Andy Reid. Yep. Like perfect guys that match like the city's personality. I look at Mike McDaniel down in Miami. Like
Shanahan out in San Francisco.
Right.
Same
you
thing.
look at him. He's a Miami coach. He, the way he talks, the way he dresses, the way he handles himself. Shanahan, absolutely. He's this like crazy genius, out in this San Francisco where, you just, you try to outsmart everybody, and he's like perfect for that city, and it's working for him. I look at Sean McVay in Los Angeles, like, dude looks and talks like a Hollywood star, and so like that's why I feel like Vrabel is a guy for us, because he understands like, all right, the division we're in, the area we're in,
he's
the two things we have to do. Right, he's from here.
He went to school here.
Yep. Like the two things you have to do before we even talk about quarterback. We're not even concerned with quarterback. You have to run the ball and you have to play defense. And those are the two most important things. Pittsburgh has made it time and time again. If you can do those two things, you can win 8-9 games. And Pittsburgh has done that for however many years. And their quarterbacks have sucked for the last decade. So yeah, you got to find a coach who's not trying to outsmart everybody, is just saying, we're going to bully you. We're going to be tougher than you are. And so I think Stefanski got by having Bill Callahan be that guy who's like, no, we're going to run the ball. We're going to have the best offensive line. Nick Chubb is just going to run it down your throat. And we're going to, now that he's not here, it's like, well, now I'm going to try to outsmart everybody. Now I'm going to bring in, Ken Dorsey, who's going to try to outsmart everybody. And we're just going to throw it 40 times a game and run the ball from the shotgun. And
it doesn't work.
You can't do it in this division. And we haven't even begun really to play like Pittsburgh twice we have left. And we still have at Baltimore and at Cincinnati. And so like, I just the whole strategy for the season has just been, we're getting Paul DePodesta, who's trying to outsmart him. It's like, it's not that difficult. I know we're trying to make it difficult, and we're trying to make it algebra and geometry and calculus and this and that. It's line up. I'm tougher than you. I'm going to push you around. We're going to run right behind you. And so, we need somebody who kind of has that same vision, and we're just going to be tougher than you. We're not going to get pushed around and bullied anymore. And it's worked for Dan Campbell, and I think it'll work for us.
And it started working for Dan Campbell his first year there. He started changing everything.
They're tough. They're the toughest team in the NFL.
And he said in his press conference, "We're going to bite you off at the kneecap. You knock us down, we're going to get like he." That's what he brought to that team, and we did. We all laughed at him like, "There's no coach." And look at his team right now, Detroit, a perennial, just like us, Bri, a perennial. Might make the playoffs. You have high hopes for them. Then you don't. And then now look at them. They're a juggernaut. And it's frustrating, Bri. Let's get in. All right. So the Steelers game is coming up this Thursday night here. And by the way, if you go down to Western Summit, Top Dog Tailgate is doing pierogi night. So go get you some pierogies from Top Dog Tailgate. And I got pictures. They're homemade, Bri. They're no Mrs. T's. They're rolling those things up, hand breaded and everything else. Brian, What are you looking forward to this game against the Steelers? Because this game, for me, and I know our season's over, but I have a feeling that this game will make or break this team completely. I have a feeling that if you go in and you win this game, you sneak one from Pittsburgh, you might be able to salvage some people on this team, get some hopes back into this city, everything else. You go out and lose this game and get embarrassed, Brian, you might as well just call the U-Haul trucks and just ship them out because they're done. They're done. Because you cannot have, and this is what sucks, because you got your rival coming into your house on a short week. Both of you are in short weeks, but coming into your house on a Thursday night, and it's going to be shitty. There's going to be snowflakes flying. It's going to be rain. It's going to be an AFC North football game, all right, in November. And I just don't see our team doing anything. Like, I see no life left in our team to win this game. Do you see life in this team?
I think this is the opportunity. You have an opportunity. It's not a death march just yet. You have an opportunity, just like you had an opportunity against Baltimore, to make some waves, to piss off your rival, and so to play spoiler. And we'll see it this week. I'll see it next week with Michigan and Ohio State. You know, Michigan has nothing to play for, but you can screw up your rival's season. Exactly. And so the Browns have that opportunity. And so, you know, we even saw it today a little bit with Myles Garrett in the press conference talking some trash to TJ Watt. So, you know, you got to put your money where your mouth is now, because I'm pretty sure TJ Watt is going to show up. Well, I think TJ Watt mentioned something or tweeted something when Myles won the Defensive Player of the Year, basically saying that he deserved it more or something like that. And so some reporter brought it up to Myles today, and he was like, you know, what's in my house is in my house. What's in your house is in your house. You know, you don't need to be worrying about that. I don't go against TJ. He doesn't go against me. So, you know, as much trash talking as Myles Garrett is going to do.
If I was Myles Garrett, I'd be like, why don't you talk to your left tackle and see who's the best?
Well, yeah, I truly believe Myles is a better player, but TJ Watt makes more splash plays. At least he has this year.
Of course he does. You want to know why? Because he plays on the weak side where nobody is blocking him, and they scheme him up. Myles Garrett's got to take on. Like, you and I sat there and watched the game on Sunday. I'm like, and that's a hold, and that's a hold, and that's a hold. But they won't call it on Myles Garrett. But you get TJ Watt. He got held a little bit. On that one. Like, I watched the left tackle horse collar Myles Garrett when we were sitting there watching the game. I'm like, how is that not a holding call? You looked at me straight in the face and go, it's Myles Garrett. That's why.
Right. Yeah, I use the analogy like the Legion of Boom. They said the refs aren't going to call pass interference every single play, so we'll just keep doing it until they stop calling it. So that's what left tackles are doing to Myles Garrett, and they've stopped calling it. You know, they might call it once a game on the real egregious ones. But yeah, for the most part, if you hold them a little bit, they're not going to say anything.
Yeah. All right, Brad, do you want to do a score for this game, or you want to finish your thought?
Yeah, well, the only other concern that I have is you said it's going to be crappy weather. And so Browns are used to it. Steelers are used to it. But who's not used to it is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston played his whole career, Florida State, then Tampa Bay, then in a dome in New Orleans. So he's never really seen this before. So, you know, he's prone to turnovers as it is. So my biggest fear is it can get ugly. You know, him not being able to hold on to the ball, balls maybe fluttering out of his hands or something like that. So that's my biggest concern. Like, I don't think we're going to get another 400-yard passing day from him. But his counterpart, Russell Wilson, has played in terrible weather, Wisconsin and Denver and Seattle for all those years. So he's used to stuff like this. So yeah, that definitely favors the Steelers, unfortunately. And normally I wouldn't be so concerned with it, but we've said it time and time again. You can't run the ball. You cannot run the ball. You have to throw. You have to throw for 300 yards and no interceptions and hope your defense puts together a gem. like that's the path for the Browns to win because they've just completely given up on the run. They don't care to run the ball anymore. It's as frustrating as an NFL fan as I think I can get to say we have a pretty good line, and we have Nick Chubb, who we think is probably close to normal now. Now I know they say you're not 100% until the year after you tear your ACL, but he still should be able to do some Nick Chubb things, and he just hasn't to this point. So
well, and also we got to the point that when you and I were watching the game, you're like, why isn't Chubb in there? Why is Ford in there? He must be hurt. He must be hurt. And it was
that's what I thought.
And it just like, okay, then what's going on? Like, are they just kind of like preserving him, giving him some game time experience, and then letting him get his feet underneath of him, and then say, hey, we're going to re-sign you next year because he only signed. This is his only year here with Cleveland. Like, there's not an extra one.
I think that definitely if they're smart, even if I'm Jimmy Haslam, even or somebody who knows they're going to be here long term, I'm like, hey, we need Nick Chubb. We're not doing anything this year. We already have established that. We need Nick Chubb for next year and the following year. So don't be overusing him. Don't be getting him hurt again so he has to miss time next year. It's pointless to play him. We all want to see him. I'm sure he wants to be out there. But for the betterment of his career and for the betterment of our team in the future, the less he plays is the better at this point, honestly, as hard as that is to say. But you have to start. If you're planning on being here next year, you have to start thinking about next year, and you can't just go all out for this year. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, right. Real tough.
Brian, what's your score?
Oh, you know me. I can't pick the Steelers. Browns. Gosh, they can't kick field goals either. 21. 20. We missed an extra point. Browns 20. Steelers, they don't get a touchdown because they can't score touchdowns. 20-16. No. Do the math. 15. 20-15.
20-15. All right.
Yep.
Bri, this is the last time I'm going out on a limb, and I have a feeling I might just nail this score like you wouldn't believe, Bri.
Okay.
I'm going to go Browns 15. Steelers 8.
15-8. Wow. That'd be a good one.
And this is the last time I'll probably be picking the Browns to win anything.
Now, what is that? Is that 5 field goals? Is that 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion?
That is 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion.
Okay.
Only to make the game 7. Because Pittsburgh scored and made a 2-point conversion.
Gotcha. I like that. Okay. And 15-8.
Hey, you want to bet the odds on that, Bri? I'm going to go that's probably 1,000,000 to 1 odds that will actually happen, but I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, I'm sure you can make a little money. You go to FanDuel and bet under 24.
With that, hey, with those 2 teams, it'd be
pretty good odds.
It'd be pretty damn easy. All right, Bri, we are nixing Fat Boy Tuesday this week. All right. We will bring it back next week, Fat Boy Tuesday next week. Now, next week, it'll be a Fat Boy Monday because the big guy is traveling to West by God, Virginia. So Brian and I are going to do our show on Monday night at 7 o'clock. We will do our Thanksgiving special, talk Thanksgiving foods, stuff like that. So stay tuned for Fat Boy Monday next week at 7 o'clock. Brian, let's get into our trivia. I asked you a trivia question. I said, hey, how many Cy Youngs have the Cleveland Guardians won since the past 20 years?
So I got Kluber with 2. Is that correct?
Yep.
I got Kluber. I got CC with 1. I got Cliff Lee with 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Bieber won it in the COVID year.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
Oh, there's one more. No, I said sure? I think. I said I think.
Well, are you going with 5?
Yep, 5.
Yeah, it's 5. CC.
Oh, yeah.
07. Cliff Lee, 08, Kluber, 14 and 17, and Shane Bieber in 20. What's really funny though is you look at the records. CC's Cy Young, he was like 19 and I think 11, had like almost a 4 ERA.
What?
And that's when they traded him to the Brewers.
Right.
Okay. Cliff Lee the following year, 22 and 3.
Didn't we trade him the following year to Philly?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, because I remember the big story that you traded back-to-back Cy Young winners in back-to-back years. What the hell are the Indians doing?
Well, guess what? They just keep putting out Cy Young. I mean, think about that. 5 Cy Young
Fausto
winners.
was right after that. Fausto Carmona.
5.
What was his real name?
Oh, my God. Wasn't Fausto Carmona. Now you're making me think. Somebody will say it here in the chat.
Extra trivia. I want to say it was Roberto Hernandez Heredia.
It was not that.
No?
Oh, my God. Now you're killing me.
Now somebody's got us.
All right. Here, I'm going to play.
Roberto Hernandez Heredia. I think the last name's right. I think there were 3 names.
All right. Hold on.
Carmona. I don't think he ever went by that, though.
Shit, you're right.
Is it? Right. What is it? Yep. Exactly? Right?
Roberto Hernandez Heredia.
How dare you?
I'm sorry,
How dare
bud.
you question my Indians? That should have been an Indians trivia.
You know what's really bad? He's only 44.
Yeah, that's what it says. He's probably like 58.
Hey,
he's like Almonte.
Damn you.
There was a kid, Danny Almonte, in the
the Little League World Series. That was had a mustache.
Mustache, armpit hair.
The deepest voice ever.
Yeah, Johnny Cash.
You know what remind me of?
Danny. I'm Danny.
Bench warmers when he handed him says, "Yeah, I'm 12," and he hands him a 5. And I need to see your birth certificate. Hands him a 5 and says, "I'm 12."
Oh yeah, that's probably where they got it from.
Well, God, that's so bad. All right, let's do our top 3 and we'll get out of here so I can go watch the Cavs game. I know we're at halftime right now, and Chris spoiled the halftime.
Still at halftime
for me. All right, let's do our top 3. We're doing top 3 Cleveland Guardians pitchers all time for us. All right, Bri. I will go first, if that's okay with you.
Please, I'd be surprised if you have any of mine.
Number 3, Orel Hershiser.
Oh, man, you got one of mine.
I knew it.
Nice.
Just loved him on here. Number 2, and it was only because he looked like a straight hillbilly. Was it, God, tell me it wasn't his last name.
John Rocker.
No, well, John Rocker's up there too. God, he had long hair, and they pitched during the World Series, and I can't think of his name right now.
Which World Series?
2016.
Long hair. Was he a starter?
Yeah. His last name was...
Not Tomlin.
Tomlin.
Was it
Tomlin?
Was it Tomlin?
Yeah, it was Tomlin.
He's talking about like duck hunting or something. Josh Tomlin. There you go.
Yeah. All right, Tomlin.
Yeah.
And Brian, my number 1 of all time, and it's not even a close one because I just thought this kid was something Jared Wright. I thought Jared Wright was going to be something special.
Oh, yeah.
And
super
kid, and I thought he was going to be something special.
Hello.
And we have a naked kid here. So
there he is. Put some pants on.
Go put some clothes on. All right, Brian, what about your top 3?
All right, nice. I like that. Yeah, Jared Wright. Remember, there's a rumor, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, that Boston was trying to trade us Pedro Martinez for him.
And that is confirmed.
What could have been.
I know.
I know. 97. He pitched. I can't remember if he pitched 2 or 3 times. He pitched in Game 7. He didn't do too bad. He kept us in it. I think it was 3. Did we end up losing 3-2 or something? Gem. Yeah. Whatever. What might have been. There he is.
He's back. He's got a shirt on now.
Better. What's your shirt say?
Hold on. What's your shirt say? Scientifically proven genius.
Oh, I got that shirt too.
I do too, except mine says something else at the bottom.
Scientifically proven drunk.
Or not. All right.
Not a genius. All right. So my top 3, here we go. An ode to my dad. He was a big Joe Borowski fan for no reason at all. Just because I remember people would dog Borowski, and he was always like, they got to stick up for this guy. He's not as bad as everyone says he is. So Joe Borowski, my number 3. I'm with you, Earl Hershiser. Like growing up, I think the '95 World Series, I want to say, was Earl Hershiser. I can't remember if he was here for '97 or not. But yeah, he was just. 97 was Martinez, Chad OJ. I remember for sure. Jarrett Wright.
Charles Nagy.
But yeah, Nagy. Right there you go. Yeah, he should probably have been in my at least for sure top 5. Shame on me. So I got Borowski, I got Hershiser, and then my number 1. I don't know why I liked him. Maybe it was because he always wore his hat really low, like you couldn't see his eyes.
Oh my
you know
God.
who I'm talking about? The closer. He was after Mesa. I love Mesa too. Don't get me wrong, I love Mesa, but Mike Jackson.
Yep, there it is.
He's my guy.
All right, everybody, we're at the end of our show. We want to thank our troops and first responders for everything. It's time to go watch the Cavs. Cheer on the Cavs in the second half, even though they're down almost 20. Bri, with that note, God bless them.
God bless it. God bless America.
All right, I'm that fat guy. Catch us next Monday, special Thanksgiving week, and we will see you next week. Have a good night.